Warning, this video contains spoilers for the bad guys. If you have not seen the film yet, then please click out of this review now. But if you have seen the bad guys, then please enjoy the video. Well, as you can see, every single bad guy's character is an S tier, and here's why. Well, my favorite character of the bunch has to be Mr. Snake. Oh, I gotta tell you, man. When I first walked into the movie, I was expecting to hate Mr. Snake. In the trailer, he's kind of implied to be a bit of a jerk, and he is in the movie, but they really do not gloss over that. They do the typical third act falling out and eventual reconciliation with Mr. Wolfe and Mr. Snake. And I mean, let's be real here. With the kind of plot the movie was going for, you know, it, that trope was going to happen no matter what. But I was thinking I was going to hate how it was done, but no, I actually really like how it was done. Yeah, and another reason Mr. Snake is my favorite character, it kind of ties into that scene as well. And the other bad guys for that matter, like they're not used to being good, so it makes sense that when Mr. Wolf wants to go good, they wouldn't understand him, and Mr. Wolf, kind of said out of anger, that they were holding him back. That's a I feel that would be a reasonable thing to say in the heat of the moment. I mean, still doesn't justify Mr. Wolf saying it, but they wouldn't understand it. But then they eventually would do something good, and then they decide, oh, we need to apologize to Mr. Wolf, and then Mr. Snake teams up with Professor Marmalade, and then he even got Mr. Wolf to admit he still cared about his friends. So, and that's what makes their reconciliation even more beautiful, because when Wolf and Snake are falling to their death, like Mr. Wolf says, "Oh, I was afraid if you found out I was trying to go good, you would." Like Mr. Snake says, "Oh, be a jerk about it." And I like that they don't gloss over that. Like they could have easily had Mr. Snake tell Wolf, if you had told me in the first place, I would have sided with you. But no, they like Mr. Snake realizes he was in the wrong as well as Mr. Wolf. So that right there is oddly kind of wholesome. I won't lie. Yeah, and I really thought I was gonna hate the poopy trope as I call it in that, but no, I actually really liked how it was done. Yeah. And Mr. Wolf, I kind of went over his stuff with Mr. Snake. I really hope their relationship gets expanded upon if they ever do a sequel. Bad Guys is based on a book series, so there's a lot of things you could do for a sequel. And Professor Marmalade, you know, you could argue, oh, he's a twist villain. We all saw it coming, but you know what? Honestly, you kind of get the sense earlier in the movie that he's like being too good for his own good, if that makes sense. Like he almost sort of presents himself as a villain. Like I don't think they actively try to hide the twist villain. I guarantee you, if Bad Guys was a Disney movie, Mr. Snake would probably be a twist villain and not Marmalade. Not to throw shade at Disney though. I still don't talk about Bruno. I love Encanto, but yeah, I really what does it say when DreamWorks has made better twist villains than Disney in recent years? I mean, aside from Guy Gagné, but Professor Marmalade, I say is how you do a twist villain like correctly. Plus, have it make sense in the context of the story. And Diane Foxington, I like the development they gave her, where she's trying to be like the governor. Like she's the governor of the town, and I'm sure she's gonna be Mr. Wolf's love interest in the sequel, because prime waifu material. Yeah, you know how it is. And especially the big twist that she was a former criminal herself, the Crimson Paw, which I think was also a character in the books. Crimson, although I think in the books, like she was already established as like a criminal. So yeah, and yeah, I'll be honest, she's mainly an S for the waifu material. And then we got some of the other bad guys down here: Mr. Piranha, Mr. Shark, and Miss Tarantula. The reason they're ranked lower than the central characters of the movie here. The reason they're ranked lower is because I don't know. I feel like they didn't really do as much in the movie compared to these guys. I still love them. Like they're still an S tier, Like the only problem is that I kind of wanted more of them. You know, hopefully we get more of them in the sequel. And interesting fact, Mr. Piranha is ranked above them because he actually kind of became a running joke with my friends, the same way that King Trolex did, which I find funny since they're both voiced by Anthony Ramos. You know, and if it weren't for that, I probably would rank Mr. Shark higher. I pretty much rank these. Well, aside from Piranha and Shark, I pretty much rank them based on how much they do in the movie. So if I were ranking them based on that, it'd be like Shark, Piranha, and then Miss Tarantula down here. Then we got the news lady from Bad Guys, who Lily Smut. No, she's voiced by someone named Lily. I forgot her name already. Yeah, another prime waifu material, but she's not as important to the story as Diane Foxington. If she weren't waifu material, I probably would put her in A. Wait, why did I just scroll down there? All right, and then we got the police chief, Misty Loggins. Yeah, I got her confused. I thought her name was Misty Luggins. Her name is something else silly. Maybe it'll come back to me, but Misty Luggins over here, Alex Borstein does a fantastic job with the performance. And that her whole life purpose is catching Mr. Wolfe, and when she finally does, it's pretty. I almost saw that as like Mr. Wolfe wanting to make the police chief happy, by willingly turning himself in. And that's another reason for Mr. Wolfe. Like the other bad guys, like they do good things out of the kindness of their heart, whereas Professor Marmalade only did good things to benefit himself. So the fact that Mr. Wolfe was willing to turn himself into to the police chief who's been trying to catch him for years, that's actually kind of wholesome. I won't lie. You got police chief Misty Luggins, and yeah, yeah, I like this character too. And then this one I don't really have much to say about. He's really just an S for top tier character design. This is Professor Marmalade's assistant, who oddly enough was not in any of the trailers or anything like that. So I guess his existence would be a spoiler. And that's really all I have to say. This is kind of a short video. I just really wanted to rank the bad guys' characters. So and there back in January when I did the first tier list video, I said that there were some upcoming movies on their slate. Those have not changed just yet, but for the uninformed, those upcoming films are Puss in Boots: The Last Wish on September 23rd of this year, a still to be determined film on April 7th of next year, so less than a year away. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Universal removed it from their calendar. And finally, we got a third Trolls movie on November 17th, 2023. And I'm sure that's going to include a hell of new characters. So, till next time, this is Bumpy Gaming going back under the bed. And remember, there are fates worse than death.